Chris the Nightmare Ariel, and you're watching MrBoxing today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, so been looking at some comments, man, and a lot of fans, and this isn't new. I've been getting these type of messages for like the last year or so, man, or close around there. But a lot of people tell me that Mr. Boxing, you can't believe the hype of the promoters of Parker, and you can't believe, you can't sit here and believe the hype of Eddie Hearn. They'll lie to you. They'll lie. They'll lie. And I understand that. I know promoters lie. This is nothing new. You know what I mean? Trust me, this is nothing new, man. I'm going on my, shit, almost the 30-year mark of being a boxing fan. I mean, actually watching the sport. So, yeah, this is nothing new about promoters lying. But one thing I say is this, man, is I know they all tell a little lie here and there. But my thing is, I haven't seen Parker and his team lied to me yet. Now, maybe to you in the way you view things and what they said, they lied to you, but I really haven't seen them lie to me yet. Um, they were set to fight Anthony Joshua. That fight was going to take place December 10th. From what I was hearing from Duco, they would have been ready to fight whoever it was December 10th. First, remember, it was November 26th was the date. And then, remember, they kept throwing names out there. And then Ruiz was going to fight Huey Fury. And then I even heard Parker and his team say that they wouldn't mind fighting David Hay or whoever it is. People say no, if they're lying, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't rush him. All right, then the Klitschko versus Fury rematch card got axed, and then Huey Fury versus Ruiz was off the table. Then they offered Ruiz for and Parker for that vacant strap, and Parker and his team decided to do something else. If you want to call it ducking or I'm not going to argue that no more, man. My thing is this. I don't think Parker and his team were scared to fight Joshua, but I think that opportunity to fight Ruiz, possibly at home, which it ended up happening, and trying to do it at home and set history at home and all that, I can understand that, and I even said it then when it happened. All right. And Joshua and her, remember they wanted Klitschko, and people kept saying, no, Mr. Boxing is just a lie. They're lying to you. You're being too gullible. They really don't want Klitschko. Trust me, that fight will never happen. It won't happen, Mr. Boxing. And you guys were right for that moment. It didn't happen on December 10th. But then they came out and said that if he wins that fight, they're going to make the fight happen. They will fight first quarter next year. And that's what happened. So they haven't lied to me. I mean, every fight that they say they were going to take or pursue, they tried, and the other guy didn't want it. They wanted the Pulev fight. I seen Pulev say, or people sending me links of him saying on a Bulgarian television station that he has no interest in fighting Anthony Joshua. So they couldn't get that fight. Stavern decided to fight Povetkin, so they couldn't get that fight. And they were looking at the rankings. I mean, now, if some of you guys wanted David Price, okay, fair enough. He didn't fight David Price. We got Eric Molina. You know what I mean? So whether it was Molina or Price, a lot of fans would have been upset regardless. But now that this is done, we're getting Klitschko. Some of you fans forget that the guy, listen, man, Joshua just won the title 8 months ago. 8. He hasn't even had the title for a full year yet. When he fights Klitschko, that'd be a year of him having a world title. 1 year, and he already has Klitschko on the plate. He only won the title 8 months ago, y'all. Like, we forget about that. He just won it this calendar year. You know what I mean? So, and he's fighting Klitschko. So to me, Eddie Hearn hasn't lied to me. He said they were fight Klitschko. Klitschko didn't want it yet, and now it's going to happen. Now, could an injury pop up? Of course, anything can happen until now, until the day of the fight. But as of right now, they had a press conference. They met at Wembley Stadium. They're ready to go. This isn't just a hearsay Twitter thing or Instagram thing. They had a presser for this. Billboards, all types of shit, posters. I mean, it's ready to go. So to me, I never felt like I was lied to. Maybe some of you have, but I haven't felt like I've been lied to. Parker and his team said when they win the title that they want to make history. They're calling out Wilder, and Huey Fury is the guy who they want to fight next. Now, if you think it's a big ploy, they're lying, they're just throwing names out there, okay, that's fair enough too, if that's your opinion. But my opinion is I'm going to stand by what they say. And if they do something besides what they say, then I'll come out and say, hey, man, these motherfuckers are lying to us. But as long as Parker gets in there with Wilder or Fury next, then he held his word. Now, I know Fury's in a position where he can possibly get a Wilder shot. They're talking about Wilder coming back and fighting a voluntary. I already gave my opinion about a voluntary defense and all that. But if he doesn't get Huey because Huey goes on to fight Wilder, and those two are taken out the equation, then I would expect Parker to fight the next highest rated available guy, and that would be Jarrell Big Baby Miller. So if Parker fights either Wilder, Huey Fury, or Jarrell Big Baby Miller next, I'm fine with any three of those fights, just depending on how everything worked out. I think the unification fight should take precedence over everything else between him and Wilder. You know what I mean? But as of right now, they haven't lied to me, and I don't think they're putting smoke screens up. And if Parker does lose, the kid's only 24. His career's not over with. You know, it's not like, oh, they're not going to put him in there with him because he might lose. Yeah, this is boxing. We need to get off of this whole he might lose thing, or he might lose his O, and we have to stop that, man, because it's going to come down to a point where the best going to have to fight the best, which means these O's are going to start to evaporate, man. Now, some of you may say, well, instead of getting there with Miller, he needs to fight Ortiz. Well, that'd be a great fight too. That would be a great fight too, if they can get that fight made. But I just want him to either try to unify or fight the mandatory challengers. That's all I want from the kid. If the Ortiz fight comes up and they want that fight, well, of course I'm down with that fight. But I don't feel as if I'm being lied to, and I don't think they're blowing smoke screens. They kept the kid busy when they said they would. First, I was like, man, they're not going to keep this kid this busy. But he fought Takum, then Haumanu. I mean, it was just fight after fight. Then they said, okay, now we're about to go into the fall. We want a title shot. They're talking about Joshua, talking about Hayes. So if you didn't get those fights and those are the fights you wanted and you were lied to, I guess you can look at it like that. But to me, just they put some names out there and they started to go through the names and see what happened. And other guys went other places. I'm not saying they were ducking Parker, but they did other things. Title shot arose. You know, the title shot came up where there was Joshua's IBF title, which a lot of you fans think is a crap title anyways, right? Because you feel as if that Fury got stripped of it, and then fucking Martin and Glasscall fought for it. So a lot of you guys don't think much of that title. Now, some of you may say, well, no, Joshua has it, so it means something now. But WBO title, IBF title, yes, I would have liked for him to fight Joshua, but Eddie Hearn, those guys signed off, so Parker will lose his mandatory position as the IBF, and he was also the mandatory for the WBO. They decided to say, hey, man, let's make this opportunity golden for us and have this fight at home in New Zealand for a title, a world title. Whether you don't think much of that title or not, it's still a legit world title, one of the four. So, I don't know. To me, I just I don't feel as if I've been lied to, or Hearn and Duco, that they're lying to me or putting up a smokescreen. Hearn promised us Klitschko. We have it, man. We have it. Within the year, this kid being having a world title, he's going to fight Klitschko. Let's forget about Brazil. Well, I mean, you don't have to forget about it, but Brazil's in the past. The Molina fights is in the past. And he had to win the title from Martin, but all that's over with now. Klitschko within a year. You know what I'm saying? What is there to complain about, man? He's about to fight Klitschko, right? So, and then, Duco, they're at least saying the right things. So I'm going to hold them to their word until I see that they take on some guy that I've never heard of in New Zealand. Then I'm going to say, okay, hey, wait. You guys said this. So I'm looking at either Wilder, if that can't happen for whatever reason, cool. And we'll figure out we'll sort out who to blame when that happens. Huey Fury, that doesn't happen, cool. We'll figure out who to blame when that happens, or Jarrell Miller. Because those are the highest rated available guys. And then, like I said, I've heard Jarrell Miller on a True School Sports interview say that he might be next in line for the Parker versus Ruiz winner. All right. So until they prove me wrong and lie to me then I'll come out with a video. But as of right now, I understand what you guys are saying. Don't be fooled. Don't be so naive about what they say. It's like, well, I'm not, because I understand things can happen, but to me, these guys want these fights, and they're making them, and they're pursuing them. His team said they're in negotiations. Now, if they're lying, then that's some bullshit. But I haven't heard Wilder or his team come out and say, hey, they're lying about this. They're not in negotiations with us. Again, when more news comes forward, then we can figure out who to blame. But as of right now, I'm gonna hold them to their word. I held Hearn to his word that we'll get Klitschko within a year, and we're here. We're here. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm out.